So our subject is transportation engineering. We are going to learn initially the basic concepts of the transportation engineering. So in this introductory part, we are going to learn the role of transportation, that is transportation engineering or the transportation facilities in the nation development or national development, that is development of the country, as well as economic development of the nation. What are the various modes, that is the ways of transportation currently present? Then surface transportation and aviation. After that, an important aspect, that is the highway engineering, which is again a specialization in our transportation. In that, we are going to see the BOT projects, that is build, operate and transfer type of projects. What are the special types? Again, BOOT projects for the highways. What is about this BOOT? Build, own, operate and then transfer. What is the meaning of this? What is the difference between BOT and BOOT? All these basic concepts we are going to see in this introductory lecture. Then after that, various elements of traffic engineering and traffic control. Now this part, traffic engineering, also comes under the transportation engineering, that is the traffic regulations. Why the traffic regulation is important? What are the various rules, laws, norms? All these things we are going to learn in this traffic engineering segment. So this is all about a brief introduction of the topics that we are going to learn. One by one, we will see these topics. So what is transportation engineering? Transportation engineering is the application of the principles of engineering, planning, analysis, and design to the disciplines comprising transportation, its vehicles, its physical infrastructure, safety in travel, environmental impacts, and energy uses. Now, it's a descriptive definition. Transportation is all about the changing the location, moving from one place to another. And theoretical definition, descriptive definition, you can have it here. So when you explain in terms of the engineering, then the definition comes out to be like this. Transportation engineering is the application of the principles of engineering in which the planning, design, and analysis of various transportation system, such as its vehicle, physical infrastructure, travel safety, and its environmental impacts, including the energy uses, are considered. So this is a descriptive definition. You can use it in your theory examination, right? So it involves the hard physical sciences and the soft sciences. Now, as the subject deals with the certain things which exist physically, you are going to plan a huge physical existing phenomena that you are going to plan. Means transportation engineering not only deals with the certain roads or certain means of communication. It deals with the creation of infrastructure for the transportation. Now that infrastructure may be your transportation on the surface, that is the land surface, that is the highways, expressways, then your freeways, then your roads, MDR, ODR, maybe VR. What is the MDR? MDR is nothing but the major district road. What is the ODR? ODR is nothing but the other district road. What is the VR? VR is nothing but the village road, right? So all these things are included in the surface transportation, right? Then after that, sea transportation is also there. Transportation through the waterways. So in waterways, you have the rivers as well as the sea transportation, right? So rivers will be flowing on the surface, that is the land surface, while as in sea you have the big ships. Then this type of ships are classified in various ways, such as for industrial transportation you have the cargo ships, for passenger transportation you have the passenger ships, then for defense purpose you are having the different type of uh, defense ships. Then for small distance passenger travel you have certain boats. For tourism you have the speedboats. For larger tourism on larger scale you have the cruise ships. For inspection purpose you have the various surveying boats, right? So these are the different types of uh, modes of transportation through the sea as well as the waterways. Okay, now creation of the infrastructure for this type of sea transportation is the creation of ports and harbors and the ship building yards. So all this again infrastructure comes under the your transportation engineering. So you can imagine how this subject is having the huge scope. Then after the surface transportation and the sea transportation, the third one you are having the air transportation. Now in air transportation also there is certain classification. For the transport of the goods and commercial things you have the cargo air transport. For passengers you have the passenger aircrafts, and for defense you have the defense aircraft that are smaller in size as compared to the passenger aeroplanes. So these are the types of transportation in the air. You also have the helicopters and choppers for passenger travel also and for defense purpose also. So air transport is also having the huge scope. Now in air transport, creation of the infrastructure for the air transportation is to build the airstrips, that is the runways, and the airports or the air force stations for the military purpose. So all this infrastructure comes under the transportation engineering, because to construct the airstrips or the runways, you require the knowledge of highway engineering also, as well as transportation engineering also. So you can imagine that how this subject is having the vital scope, and as a civil engineer you must learn this subject thoroughly, and also you understand the various aspects of this subject, that at which depth you need to study this subject. So this is about the preliminary, or what you can say, basic modes of the transportation. Now, as you move ahead in this modern era, you are having the metro rail, you are having the monorail, and also some of the future proposed structures, such as the super communication expressways and the hyperloops. So all these things are present on the government website. This is proposed by the government. Okay, so basically the huge infrastructure, all these things are planned by the government, proposed by the government, not by the people, right? So all this planning comes under very much higher level, very technocrat people does all these things. So planning also comes under the town planning department. Means town planning department also have this type of planning of the roads and all these things. And when various states and various other government bodies comes together, they plan the national level infrastructure. So all these big projects, highways going through the many states, railways going through the many states, comes under the national level of infrastructure. So this is about the scope of this transportation. Now, what is the role of transportation in the national development? It is responsible for the economic growth, place utility and transportation of the goods. Then if your transportation is adequate, then you can go for the mass production. Exploitation of the natural resources, you can have the various ores and minerals, and you can transport it, you can export all these things. All this economic development will lead to the urbanization and the industrial development. Whatever the agri products or agri goods that you are going to cultivate, modify, produce, manufacture, all this you can export to the other places where they are required. Even you can export it to the other countries, and by this you can minimize the cost of production of this all goods. You can earn a good revenue out of this. Now when comes to the national aspects, then the defense and strategic needs are considered. You are going to construct the roads near the borders, near the strategic locations, right? Then air force stations and airstrips and airbase are constructed near the borders at the strategic locations. So again, this is important as comes under the national security, as these things comes under the national security. So your national security also gets improved. And all these things have been constructed. Many of these things have been, we are having all these things in our country. And then lastly, the transport facilities and the social activities. So various states can be connected to each other by this type of national infrastructure projects, and a social harmony can be achieved, social development can be achieved throughout the nation. So these are the various roles of transportation engineering in the nation building, in the nation development. Then what are the various ways of transportation? Already we have discussed these things. Railways are there, which can be surface, can go through the tunnel, that is tunnel as well as underground, that can be elevated, such as the monorail, and LRT is there, that is a light rail transit. So this LRT, you can see it in Malaysia and Singapore. These countries are using the LRT. In India, we are using the MMTS also. That is the multimodal transit system. That is again one segment under the Indian Railways. Such as you have the demo, right? That is a diesel electric multiple unit, such like the local trains, advanced local trains. So these are the various segments comes under the railways. Then road transport is there. Various, as we have already discussed about the national highways, then MDR, ODR, VR, as well as the expressways, and more advanced to that is the super communication expressways. So all this comes under the road transport. Then air transport we have discussed the subcategories, and similar to that the water transport. Then various subcategories are given here. You can have a look of it. Then the classification of roads. NH, it is a short form of national highway. Then SS, state highway. MDR, major district road. ODR, other district road. And VR stands for the village road. Based on the carriageway, then what is the carriageway? Carriageway is nothing but the pathway, or the path followed by the road. So that is the carriageway. So in that, a paved road and unpaved road. So your VR comes under the unpaved roads. Okay, and paved road, again you will have the two subcategories. That is the bituminous road and concrete road. So bituminous road will be made up of the bitumen, and concrete road will be made up of the concrete. Okay. Then surface road, unsurface road, already discussed. As per the usability, you have the all-weather road, fair weather road. All-weather road which do not get affected in the rainy season. Fair weather road get affected due to the rains, or in monsoon season you are not able to use that road. Then urban road, you are having various subcategories: arterial, subarterial, collector street, local street. So that are the city means roads comes under the urban areas, that is the cities. So these are the categories: arterial, subarterial, collector, local street. Collector streets which collect the traffic. Arterial, the major roads in the urban areas, cities. Subarterial, which supports the major traffic carrying roads. And then local streets are the streets through the markets, which have the less width. Now the cross section of the roads is very much important. and various elements related to its alignment, and that elements we call it as the geometric elements of the road. Now, which are the things comes under the geometric elements? Already we have seen the carriageway. Carriageway is nothing but a pathway. So that pathway will have a particular width. So we call it as a carriageway width. Then camber is there. That is nothing but the cross slope. Slope on the sideways. We call it as a cross slope or camber in the technical language. Then shoulder. That is the outer wings or outer sides of the your carriageway. That is the shoulder. Then curb. A slightly inclined portion which is uplifted, that is the curb. Then width of the roadway, the exact width of your road. Then right of way. Right of way means the eligible width of your carriageway. If certain extensions can be done, then that will through under the right of way, along the right of way. Then side distance is the again technical thing which is related to somewhat traffic engineering. Side distance, the distance through which you are eligible to see on a straight way, on a curve way, that is your side distance. Then horizontal curve, there are various types of curves: horizontal curves, vertical curves, then transition curves, summit curves, valley curves. So that again comes under the curves. So in detail we are going to see it. Then super elevation. What is the super elevation? To prevent the uh, sliding of the vehicle on the curves, we use this term. We do some technical alterations on the pathway through the super elevation. That is, what is the basic definition of super elevation? Rising of the outer edge of the road with comparison with to comparison with the inner edge. That is nothing but the super elevation. So your centrifugal force should get balanced with the centripetal force, so that a balance can be achieved and your vehicle will be prevented from the overturning or sliding. So in transportation engineering, in highway engineering, this is very much important term, that is the super elevation. In railways also we use this thing. If your inner edge is going lower as compared to the outer edge, then we call it as a negative super elevation. Okay, and super elevation is also known as the cant. Then after that, gradient is nothing but the slope. Then vertical curve, you are having the summit curve, valley curve, and then alignment. So these are the technical terms related to the geometric design of the highways. Now, after that, advantages of the roadways and disadvantages of the roadways. So you all are well versed with this type of the basic things, but still we will see what is the basic terms used here for the advantages and disadvantages of the roadways. So roadways gives us the flexibility. It permits the any type of vehicle, smaller vehicle, larger vehicle. So the vehicle size is not fixed. So this is again advantage. Even a two-wheeler can move, even a four-wheeler can move. It provides door-to-door service, right? You can go through any extent by using these roads on the surface. It saves time for the short distance. For short distance, and the construction and infrastructure means maintenance cost is also low for this. What are the disadvantages? There are very little disadvantage for this. So goods carrying capacity is low as compared to the railways. Then speed is low compared to the air, water, rails. Less comfort because of the your potholes and all these things. You need to do the maintenance regularly. It is uneconomical for the long distance. If long journeys are there, then you prefer the railways or flights. Number of road accidents are very much high because the two vehicles may collide to each other. So these are the certain instances which can occur on a larger extent on the roadways. So this is again the disadvantage. Now the next thing is railways. So what are the categories? Trunk routes are there, main lines, branch lines, surface, underground, elevated, diesel is there, electric is there. And again, the inventions are going on in this to use the solar power or using the battery power. So this type of innovations are going on. Then basically, uh, we all know the three gauge, broad gauge, meter gauge, and narrow gauge. So narrow gauge is the least one, having the width of 0.762 meters. So these type of questions can be asked in multiple choice type of examination. Meter gauge having exact width of 1 meter and broad gauge having 1.676 meters. So for narrow gauge, it is 0.76, and for broad gauge, it is 1.67. So after that, wooden type of sleepers were used in old times. So that are been replaced with the metals, and again that replaced with the concrete. So in concrete also, you are having the pre-stressed concrete as well as reinforced concrete. So mostly the pre-stressed concrete sleepers are used nowadays, and again the continuous rails, or which you can say modified rails, given the joints, this type of rails are used nowadays. Then what are its advantages and what are its disadvantages? So the goods carrying capacity is high, speed is also high, because recently there are certain bullet trains which crosses the 400 kmph or 500 kmph. So therefore we can say that the speed is high, but it is low as compared to the airways, but still it is enough. Then it is cheaper than the airways, so that is the advantage. Comfortable for the long distance travel, and it increases the and business, trade, commerce, business. So what are the disadvantages? It is not flexible, means only a specific type of rails can move. Then it dependent on the roadway, because whenever the station is there, end point or station point, you again need to travel through the roadways. Then train runs as per the schedules, right? The specific schedules are there. Maintenance cost is high, and it permits the definite mode of transportation. So these are the shortcomings. Then waterways. Uh, so for waterways, the new informations is there, because generally we don't travel with the waterways oftenly. So types of harbor: natural, semi-natural, and artificial. So in these images, you can see the artificial harbors. Types of ports: major, intermediate, minor. Types of docks: wet dock, dry dock. So what is the difference between harbor, ports, and docks? So harbor is for the ships, basically for the your passenger ships, which again can be subdivided into natural, semi-natural, and artificial, that is man-made. Port you are having for the commercial transport, that such as the JNPT you are having, which can be major, intermediate, and minor. For the docks, you are having the wet dock and dry dock. Your ship can be entered in the dockyard and it can be, the maintenance can be done in the docks, such as you have the dockyard at the Mazgaon, which is the a larger dockyard. So these are the quite differences between the harbor, ports, and docks. Then advantages of the waterways: no need of the construction of the track. It require cheap motive power because water is a softer media, so you require a little power to move on. Then it is the cheapest mode of transportation. In terms of what? In terms of the large amount of goods can be traveled through the by using the small amount of the fuel. So this is the comparison. It provides efficient mode of defense. When defense it is used, it helps in growth of industries. Now, if you see the disadvantage, then it is slow. Storms can cause the great loss. It is useful along the particular routes only in the seas and the rivers. Maintenance cost is very much high and it has the limited connectivity. Then coming to the airways, airport, international, domestic, and military types of airfield, flexible and rigid. That is bituminous and cement concrete. So we already discussed this thing. Now these are the advantages and disadvantages. So you can have this type of similar advantages and disadvantages, but it is mostly the main advantage is in terms of the defense, because it is a powerful means of attack. Means your bombing aircraft can carry the various ammunition, various missiles, self-guided missiles is also there. Surface to air missiles are there in the launchers, and in the aircraft you can carry the air-to-air missiles also, self-guided missile and guided missiles, GPS tracked missiles also you can carry. So these are the advantages of these defense aircrafts. It helps in aerial photography or photogrammetry, right? So these aircrafts are very much useful in military activities. Now, one more advantage is it is fastest mode of the transportation, right? So having the speed of 1200 kmph, so that is the highest, and you can go up to the 1500 and 1600 also. The fuel consumption is high, fuel is very much costly. So these are the disadvantages. So I hope that you got all these points. So in next lecture, we will discuss the what is BOT, build, operate, transfer, and BOOT, that is build, own, operate, transfer, and the details related with the highway engineer.